Alright, Infernal Blessings. We are back with another video. Alright, before we begin, just a couple quick announcements. Again, top priority at the moment, 7th Annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. I know it's been a little busy the last few days. I saw a couple emails, people inquiring, wanting to sign up before I came on. I'm headed back home now. I will respond to your emails later this evening as of the day of the recording of this video. 7th Annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference, October 31st to November 3rd, right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Hollywood, Florida to be exact. The conference will kick off on Halloween night, so we have planned a little bit different this year than just a traditional meet and greet. We're going to have a little opening ritual at the graveyard, and then we're going to slide over to a place for a little bit close by called Dandy Donut. They have a little, you can get some grilled stuff there, but they're known for their donuts and coffee. Just have a nice little meet and greet where everybody can meet each other afterwards. So we're going to open it up with a necromancy ritual of the dead on that night. A lot of power. So because of the way it's falling, we decided this would be a good idea. Change it up a bit. A lot of changes. You'll see it if you've come in the past years. We even have an opening ritual for Friday. You're going to see more ritual work this year. We should have 6 presentations. 3 on each day, on Friday and Saturday, in addition to the ritual work, the group dinners. And then on Sunday, question and answer class I'll be doing from noon to 4 p.m. So it's going to be a great 4-day event. We do it every year. This will be our 7th straight year doing this. We did it through the pandemic. I think the 1 year in the pandemic, we did it virtually because everything was kind of shut down across the country, even though we really weren't shut down here in Florida. I think it was probably 2020. I think that was the year we did it virtually. Yeah, 2020. But the other years we've done it in person. So you can attend live and in person, or you can attend virtually. The only thing virtually, you don't get access to the ritual work. I don't stream those live like I do the Patreon rituals, only because it's just too much going on. There's too many things we're doing. It makes it complicated with sound. Because one of the rituals we're outside, it just doesn't work. All right, so if you want to sign up, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com, and I will send you information on how to sign up either in person, live. If you need information on travel arrangements, hotel ideas, Airbnbs, a lot of people do the Airbnbs. Again, as I said, it's the venue is minutes from the airport. It's close to hotels, close to the beach. It's in a prime area. So there are some people who come and rent cars. There's some people who they Uber it around. It's so close you don't even really need to rent a car. You can basically get around by Uber if you don't want to rent a car. All right, but shoot me an email as we're getting close. I'm about to put a new flyer up tonight for that, so you'll see. And then once you sign up, a couple days before the event, you get a digital itinerary, so you are aware of the schedule of the presenters and what we're doing and this, that, and the third. So shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, I did set a date. I'll post a date for the Hip Hop Occult Show and the Black Magic Essentials 2nd class. I'll do that tonight. I got with Taj late last night. We're going to do that next Friday night. Dis One will be joining us again live from Philadelphia. As you saw, he joined us live from the studio. I believe he's also got a channel on a platform you might want to check out. And for the most part, he's going to be a regular now on the show as long as he can get there, because the brother, he really contributed some good stuff to the last show, and so we're going to have him on as a regular co-host along with myself and Brother Taj. All right, so that'll be next week, Hip Hop Occult Show, and we're going to be doing a show on the legacy of the original Gun Clappers, the OGC clique, Black Moon, Helter Skelter, the legacy of Sean P, aka Sean Price, how it all started. Probably another MC that was taken too early from us was getting to that legendary status. I mean, he did. He left a catalog there behind. We just lost Fat Man Scoop, which a lot of you probably heard, but we'll talk about that more on next week's show. So look out for that. Also, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, again, I offer various different types of readings: Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings. I'm kind of going to run through this brief. Deity readings to see what gods, goddesses, demons, and spirits walk with you. Maybe you just want a consultation, a spiritual consultation. Shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Please include in the email your full weekly availability. plus the time zone you are in, and we will find a date and time that works for both of us, all right? Also, don't forget to check out all the social media pages. Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, one word. Primordial Chaos, 2 words on Facebook. PrimordialChaos3.com on TikTok. I finally got the TikTok handle, right? All the links are in the description box. Also, if you want to sign up for classes, go to the Patreon page, the Primordial Chaos Patreon page at patreon.com/Beniti, BANITI, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to all of the classes I do on Patreon. I have over 13 or 14 ongoing classes right now with constant new classes being added. You get to attend live via Zoom when the classes happen. If you can't get there live, they're all archived. Also, when you join, you don't just get access to the day you join moving forward. You get access to everything in the archive, including the ritual work, the group work, going back almost 5 years now, believe it or not. 5 years. A lot of work. It's going to keep you busy. You probably won't even be able to get through all the material in this lifetime. Not even an exaggeration. It'll take you a long time with as much material, information. I say that with confidence, not arrogance. I stand behind that firmly because see it for yourself. Talking about it is one thing. Seeing it for yourself. What you can do, if you go to the Patreon page at patreon.com/Beniti, BANITI, if you go to the collection section, when you go to the page, just click the collection section. It'll show you all of the current ongoing classes that you can get into with your tier 3 membership. All right? You won't be disappointed. Also, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. It's basically all of these shorts and videos you see me doing. I put them in an MP4 format, and I put them on the podcast so you can have them in audio format, so you can listen to them while you're on the go, in the car, at work, or just hanging around the house relaxing. You can also get this knowledge in audio format if you don't have time to sit and watch the videos sometimes, because sometimes people are busy on the go. All right? All of the description, all the links to the Patreon page, the social media pages, my contact email address, the podcast, all of that information is in the description box of this video you're watching right now. All right, having said that, you see the title. I posted the Patreon ritual we're going to be doing at the end of this month is working with the deity who some will pronounce Chozzar, some say Chozzar, Chozzar, depending. You'll get 2 different pronunciations of it. Not a very well-known deity really across the board in most spectrums of the occult and the left-hand path. If you're a draconian magician and you practice draconian magic like I do, then you should be very familiar with Chozzar. Also, if you're familiar with Kenneth Grant's work, Night Side of Eden, which is a good reference source if you want to get more information on Chozzar. So I want to just give a little information on who Chozzar or Chozzar, depending on how you pronounce it, who he is, and kind of give you a little idea. And yes, that popped up out of the blue because you've never really heard me talk a lot about Chozzar here on my YouTube page or my Patreon page. But I was doing some draconian work probably just a little less than a week ago, and he manifested to the surface, came to the surface clearly. So I was in the midst of gathering the Patreon content for the month of September, and it came through clear as day. We need to connect with Chozzar. He came through as a deity that wants to specifically connect with the Patreon family on Patreon. This has happened before. Some of you on Patreon know this. It's happened with Lilith. It happened a couple years ago. Lilith presented herself. Something went down in the ritual, which is actually recorded on the Patreon. There was an incident. I'm not going to get into all that. And we had to put it on pause and came back to it several months later. So we have Patreon and matriarchal spirits coming through sometimes. So Chozzar came through strong as I was getting ready, finishing some draconian ritual work, and then I was getting ready to do the Patreon content for September a few days back. And this came through clear. So let's talk briefly. This will be a short tutorial on who Chozzar is, and give you some information and knowledge to those who may not be aware. Some of you may be aware if you practice draconian magic or you're familiar with Kenneth Grant's work, especially Night Side of Eden, then you're probably a little bit familiar with what I'm going to say. He's in draconian magic. He is known as the Lord of the Deep or Lord of the Void in the Abyss in Atlantean magic. He is synchronized with a couple of masks that you might be familiar with, Poseidon being one of them. As we know in Atlantean magic, that is another mask of the adversary. There is also a link with the aspect of Set Typhoon. Kenneth Grant gets into a little bit of aspect because there's the connection. He has an aspect connected with the animal of the pig and the snout, and it gets into the typhoon aspect of Set. So there's a connection there with Set, Poseidon, and the void and the abyss. But his main functioning is dealing with the void and the abyss in what we would call Atlantean magic. So it's another mask of the adversary. Again, as I said earlier, not probably a well-known, talked about a lot, popular mask. So what we will be dealing with, obviously, in the ritual work, because if you're doing clip pot work, if you're doing magic where you're going into the void and the abyss, if you're doing work with the Citra Akra and the Klepothic deities, there's a very similar energy. So connecting with Chozzar, you will be accessing, again, the deep recesses of things you have buried in your subconscious mind. So when you're working with deities that are connected to the void and the abyss, and he's known as Lord or God of the void or the deep, right? So he represents those deep internal states of mental transformation, right? Mental and spiritual transformation. So like many deities that are connected to that aspect on the occult, he's worked with for when one is in need of serious change and transformation. And it's crazy because if you're on the Patreon page, this month's working with Orzili Dantor for the month of September, which is crazy how it all lines up. And again, this is just happens naturally, not planned. This month's working, if you've been started all the way through January, now 9th month now, with Orzili Dantor. This month we're working with Orzili Dantor with reflection and transformation. And it's almost like, it blows my mind because it's almost like Chozzar came through to balance the other side of that out, kind of, the masculine, and then you have the feminine. Because I say that too, because also that's what Chozzar deals with, reflection and transformation. Reflection on what? Reflection on your life, things that have transpired, events, choices, decisions you have made. You're supposed to reflect on them, the good and the bad. Because some decisions you made were obviously good, they were productive, they impacted your life in a positive way, and they brought great change and transformation. But some of the decisions and the choices you made and the things that have transpired in your life were not productive, were not positive, were negative, caused a lot of conflict and negativity and destruction in your life. Okay? So that's what this is really about. So even we're dealing with that with the Orzili Dantor for the month of September and working number 9 as we go through the whole year. And as we get to the end of the year with Dantor, those of you who have got your beads and you're prepared to do your self-initiation, that will take place in a couple of months. You're leading up to your personal self-initiation with Orzili Dantor if you decide to choose it. It's almost like Chozzar complements that, right? As he has come through, because it's similar, reflection and transformation. You will reflect on every aspect of yourself as you do work with Chozzar. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the triumphant, the joyful, the loving. And again, it's all of those things. And he deals, when we say Atlantean magic, he is a great magician, right? Another powerful aspect of the adversary. And again, you must understand this, and I want to be crystal clear. Remember, the adversary comes in many forms, masks, and manifestations, right? Some of the well-known ones that we're very aware of: Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub, etc. He comes in different masks in the form of Lucifer, Lord of the Air. You know, there's different, Mephistopheles, another man. People have to understand, when you understand who these, if you want to use the word entities, archetypes, deities, spirits, gods, goddesses, demons, these are beings of light and energy, okay? They manifest in human form because they have the ability to slow down their spiritual vibration and take on a physical form. Just like you have the same ability, you just don't think you do. When you speed up your vibration to astral travel, to leave your body and vibrate out of 3-dimensional person, place, and thing, that's how you connect with their realm, right? It's just we've become so attached through indoctrination to our mortality that we forgot the process of how to do that. So this ritual work, this connecting And you're not inferior to these gods and goddesses. Do not approach them with inferiority, because you'll get devoured, swallowed up, and spit out. You have to approach them with the mindset of walking side by side with them, because you are them and they are you. You may not accept that. Other people in other circles may not agree with what I just said, but I do not teach people to worship anything outside of themselves and be inferior to something outside of themselves, because if you do that, you might as well just go back to the Christian church. You might as well just go back to the Jewish synagogue or temple, or if you're a Muslim, you might as well just go back to the masjid or wherever you came from, because this is a path of godhood or goddesshood. Okay? And then the question always comes, as I said before, what do I mean when I say we are a god or a goddess? Okay, not a god or a goddess or a god in the form of some monotheistic spooky god somewhere out there in the sky. A god or a goddess in the form, simply, when I make that statement, I'm simply alluding to the fact you have taken control. You have taken responsibility and control for your spiritual destiny, your spiritual path, and your spiritual sovereignty. You have taken accountability for all aspects of self, good and bad. And which is common sense, to be responsible. Being a god or goddess, step one is to be responsible for yourself. So when I say that you need to become a god or a goddess, it means you don't blame anybody outside of yourself for your successes or your failures. It's you. At the end of the day, it's you and you alone, in the sense that what you get in is what you put out. If you succeed, it's on you. If you fail, it's on you. So I don't teach anybody to be inferior to something outside of themselves. That's religion. I don't care what spirit you may belong to, a spiritual system that may not be Islam, Christianity, or Judaism, or one of the three major monotheistic religions. But if you belong to any spiritual system that is teaching you that you're inferior to something outside of yourself, it's religion. I don't care what anybody says. It's religion. And I don't care if you dumb it down, like I said, giving it terms, the Most High, the eternal spirit, all these just, which are deeper excuses for I do not know what the creator is. Okay? I get it. It's a nice little crutch to lean on, but you're still in system of servitude. Okay? And this is one of the lessons that's learned with Chozzar. Chozzar deals with high forms of self-mastery. Chozzar deals with being a master magician, right? Understanding the dark arts of the void and the abyss. And one will have to challenge oneself to come to the conclusion and the reality of what that entails. Okay? And this is what makes Chozzar unique. Like I said, it came literally out of nowhere. It's something I've dabbled with on and off. But then all of a sudden, less than a week ago, Chozzar comes through strong. So this is why we shifted, because a lot of people had sent me an email that's on, people reached out that are on the Patreon, and they're like, who's Chozzar? Not familiar with it. So that even gave me more confirmation, so this is needed. That was a deeper message for me. So for those that are on Patreon and also members of my YouTube channel, you're watching this video is for you. For those who are not, but maybe you're just interested and you don't know much, this is also for you too, okay? But this is who we will be working with at the end of the month on the 26th of September. We will be doing a ritual, 8:15 p.m. for Tier 3 and above, Patreon members only. You have to be a Patreon member to participate in the group ritual work I do. It's just the way it is. I don't just take anybody into the ritual work, because I just feel there needs to be a deeper commitment. If you're going to do that, even here, I also want to throw this out there. Anytime anybody wants to come, contact me first. But if you ever want to attend, we do have our locals, and once in a while we get people who visit. When you see me doing those Patreon rituals live and live streaming, you see there's some people there. You do have the access to attend live. And right now we're doing them on the last Thursday of the month. So if you ever want to come through, contact me first. We got to make sure we're aware of it and have a brief discussion and make sure it's the right thing for you to do. You're always welcome to come live and participate in the rituals, which we do at the end of every month. So I always forget to keep putting that out there. Before the pandemic, we used to get a lot more regular visitors. Then when the pandemic shut down, when we didn't do it for we did it, but we didn't have any live guests for a few months. That's back open again for those who would like to come. So feel free to reach out to me if you would like to ever come live, if you're ever around or you're able to, or maybe you're in this area at that time of the month and you want to come through for the ritual work, shoot me an email. Reach out to me and contact me. You can come through. It's a pretty cool experience if you're able to come through live. All right. So yeah, that's what we're going to pretty much be doing this month. I just wanted to come on here for the most part, do that quick tutorial. Again, check out Night Side of Eden by Kenneth Grant. You can even Google. There's PDFs that you'll find information if you Google. Also, let me throw out another reference. Believe it or not, I can't remember the name of it. I have the book, but you can also get it in PDF. Madame Blavatsky there's a PDF. She did some stuff on Chozzar because she also was into some aspects of Atlantean magic. That'll give you another very interesting viewpoint. There is information and resources out there on Chozzar. Just have to Google it. But one of the best, in my opinion, is Night Side of Eden by Kenneth Grant. To me, that would be my number one go-to source if you wanted to. And again, as I said, he's synchronized with Set Typhoon. He's synchronized with Poseidon. And those are the two key masks you will find connections with. But in his form through Atlantean magic, he is known as Chozzar, some people say too, depending on how you pronounce it in English. I prefer the hard sound to Chozzar, especially when you're doing mantras. It flows better. So that's basically it. That's kind of the short tutorial I kind of wanted to do. Hopefully this short tutorial gave you a little more insight, and also hopefully it helped some of you guys that will be doing the ritual work on the 26th of September, closing out the month. And then, believe it or not, we're winding down September, going into October, and can't believe how fast this year is flying by. I know I say it all the time. And then the 7th straight conference will be here. And then Halloween, leading into Thanksgiving, leading into Christmas, leading into New Year's. It's going to be a little different this year for me for the first time because, which I'm a little down about, my older sister who lived in the area for a while, she has bought a new home and moved to more the central northern part of Florida, which is about 3 to 3.5 hours away. So I don't have her as close to me as usual. I'm still going to try to connect for the holidays. So I'm a little down about that. That's going to be a little different this year. Hopefully we're able to connect. The distance, it's a little harder now being that far away, 3 to 4 hours. I think it's about 3 to 3.5 hours. But we're going to have to make it work. So she's pretty much been with me here the whole time. But she had a good opportunity up that way. And she had to seize it. I get it. It is what it is. All right. But other than that, if you need to reach out to me, you want to sign up for the 7th Annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference. If you want to reach out to me for a spiritual reading or a consultation. If you want to sign up for the Patreon classes. Or you want to listen to the podcast. You want to check out the social media pages. All of those direct links, information, my email address, the direct link to the Patreon page, to sign up for classes, all of that information is in the description box of this video you're watching right now. That'll do it for me. Infernal blessings, and we will talk soon.